everyone. I hope traders and investors alike were green on Friday. So in this video, we're going to do our weekly recap. We're going to talk about everything coming up this week. We've got some news, but we're going to start with data. So this week, the data, we do have several Fed speakers. You can see here in red, I've underlined with blue. This is posted in the Discord. So we got Fed Harker on Monday at 10:30 and Harker again at 4:30, but the 10:30 will hopefully provide us up some momentum. Tuesday we do have Williams. We also have retail sales. So Williams at 8 a.m., retail sales at 8:30. Bowman speaks at 9:20. So hopefully that can give us something coming into market open at 9:30, give us some momentum. And Barkin speaks at 10:45. We know Barkin likes to move the market. We also see we got some crude reports and business inventories, stuff like that coming in. And on Wednesday, we do have Fed Waller at 12, Williams at 12:30, Bowman at 1, Harker at 3:15, and then Lisa Cook speaks again at 6:55. We also have the Treasury International Capital, Beige Book. Sometimes we can get some movement off Beige Book. There is a petroleum report that can provide some energy opportunities. On Thursday, the big day, jobless claims at 8:30 a.m. We do have Jefferson speaking at 9. We have Big Daddy Powell speaking at 12. So that's going to be a big deal. That's probably our biggest deal for the week, other than some earnings. We're going to talk about those next. Goolsbee speaking at 1:20 and Barr at 1:30. The Fed balance sheet does come out at 4:30. Unfortunately, it's after the market closes, but that may set us up for something on Friday. Friday, Fed Speaker Harker and Loretta Mester. And I also posted it the same exact thing. I just posted 2 of these so I could highlight the Treasury bills and the bond market. I'm not a bond guy, so I don't understand a lot of what's happening there. But we did get some movement last week. So on Monday at 11:30, we do have some 3 to 6 year bond auction. On Tuesday at 11 a.m., we have a 4-week bill announcement that could move the market there. 1 p.m. Treasury auction, the 17-week bill and a 20-year bond. And again, at 11 a.m. on Thursday, we have the 3 to 6 month bill. And we have a few more things happening in there. Right down that one, we have the 5-year TIPS auction. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not a big bonds guy. So let's move on to the earnings, but we definitely wanted to point that out because we did see some momentum last week. So let's go take a look at the earnings. All right, so first we want to give a shout out to Earnings Whisperers. This is absolutely free information on their Twitter page. You can see this week we do have some earnings starting up. We do have, I didn't underline it or highlight it here, but we do have Schwab and First Bank on Monday, Bank of America, Lockheed Martin, Goldman Sachs, Johnson & Johnson. Before open on Tuesday, after close, we do have United and JB Hunt and Interactive Brokers is in there. Wednesday is the big deal, a bigger deal. So before open on Wednesday, ASML, Procter & Gamble, Morgan Stanley, we have Abbott reporting, Ally Bank also reports, M&T's in there as well. Wednesday after close, big night, and of course we will be late live for earnings. Tesla, Netflix, Land Research, Sands, Alcoa, all coming in after hours on Wednesday. So big deal there. Thursday before open, AT&T, Taiwan Semi. We do have the Blackstone Group in there as well. KeyBank, Truist is in there. Thursday after close, we do have CSX, Railroads. So give us a look at see what the railroad's doing. We also have WD-40 in there as well. And Friday before market open, SLB, our first look at an energy name. American Express starting to take a look at the credit card names as well. Sands, we get a look at the casinos. Alcoa, getting a look at the metal. So we'll get a look at a lot of these different sectors. A good look inside, right down to Taiwan Semi, starting to see what's happening in the semi sector. So we get a good look inside of these companies, and to give us an idea. Right now, earnings still look pretty good on what we've seen on the banks. So this will give us a good idea of what we're heading into. Let's head to the charts, and we're going to talk about some news coming in. All right, so we talked about the econo data on our calendar, and we talked about earnings. So we also have some possible Iranian intervention. So that's just possibly going to bring more people into the conflict. So we'll see how that works out. Not want to get political or over talk about anything like that, but that it is a possible market mover. Another thing that we have is the vote for the House Speaker on Tuesday at noon. So we'll see how that goes. See if there's any serious issues like we've seen with McCarthy, with Jordan. See how that plays out. That can definitely be some market moving issues there as well. So we did also add some charts, mostly energy charts and some sentiment charts to take an overall look at the market health. Let's start getting into the charts, and we'll talk about stuff as we go through the chart. So we can see the put to call ratio. We closed at positive 106 on Friday. That is in the bearish zone. There oscillators for the NASDAQ negative 35, so we were already in a negative area. We did move lower, so a little bit of power in that move on Friday. And you can see the New York Stock Exchange, we were positive, I believe it was like a positive 9. We're now a negative 17. So there was some power in that move on Friday, but we really didn't move the scale that hard. So it actually cooled off on the put the call indicators. We can see SPX still trading within our channel here, our descending channel. We did have a bullish week, did have a higher close candle, but we can also see there's a lot of that candle, even though it was a high close candle, it's definitely got some bearishness into it. Rejection at that weekly 9, which was definitely on our radar this week. It was a good job, Jason, for pointing that out on a few times this week, actually. Great job. It's great working, trading within a group with everybody's, posting stuff that is very helpful for everybody, along with, the live trading and stuff that we're doing and the live market commentary. So to have all the members posting all this great information, it's just an awesome group, an awesome place to be. So we can see the breadth. We did close negative on Friday at negative 692. That was after trying to push higher at first. So that was a fairly large move down, especially considering that we were positive opening up on breadth and moving lower. We can also see the U.S. dollar seeing some strength back into it. Got a high close candle confirming that bullish engulfing candle. See if we can get a move up on a dollar. We don't really want to see a move up on a dollar, but definitely perking up there. The VIX, we can see this also perked up. Now they come back in Friday and took quite a bit of that candle back, but that's a strong candle with a nice close. And there is some fear coming into the markets with everything going on in Israel, and it's understandable. The market is trading very weird. It is understandable. A lot of people don't understand what's happening, and a lot of these guys, it takes weeks, days or even weeks for them to build positions, and they don't want to start building positions with all this drama going on in the markets. It's understandable. So you can see crude here, strong bullish engulfing candle on Friday. This is actually giving us a morning star candle pattern there. We want to watch that 20. We are going to be looking at some different crude names in this video. Apple. This is Apple's daily chart, a large bearish engulfing candle on Friday. They're still trading within our wedge. We can see we did come up, touch the top of that wedge, and see rejection. So we have to keep an eye on those levels. We've been talking about that. Natty gas, natural gas has been strong. Now you got a big down candle on Friday coming right back into, I don't believe, well, yeah, so they're not perfect, but looks like we're coming back into the 9. The 20's on its way up. That's the wrong color for the 9. There should be blue, but we are flagging back into the 9, so we can draw a line there. We're looking for a flag break, looking a little rounded topish there. Below that 9, maybe looking for a quick trade down to the 20, but more or less watching that flag play. This MACD looks decent there as well. RSI is cooling off. Not seeing any relative strength compared to the market as of right now. Apple intraday chart moving lower there. Gold. This is a huge move on gold. Gold don't usually get candles like this, so want to keep those GLD names on the radar with the fear that's coming into the market. We also got to close over that 200 on volume. That's a really nice move on gold. RSI is trying to heat up. MACD looks great. All right, so this chart tells us the percentage of the stocks that are above the 50-day and the 200-day within the market. So on a New York Stock Exchange, 36% of the stocks are above their 200. and only 24% of stocks are above the 50-day. So on the S&P 500, 39% of their stocks are above the 200, and 26% of the stocks are above their 50-day. That's not the greatest look. So that's just showing us at the overall market health here. And that's not a good look. This is a breadth chart, just showing us the overall strength within the market. Back to our advanced decline lines, turning down, you can see the small caps showing the weakest here. We did bounce off the 9, or drop below the 9 on small caps. Mid caps, we dropped below the 9. The S&P 500 is able to still stay above the 9. The New York Stock Exchange dropped below the line. So overall market health is starting to fail there. Aflac, this was a nice breakout out of this ascending triangle. Would have made a great trade if anybody was able to get any of this. Congratulations. I personally did not trade this, but the reason why this is working so well and what I liked about this trade was this breakout was above this big volume profile bar, which helps give you room to move. So a nice move up there, showing a little bit of signs of how it wants to come back in and flag. Moving averages look great. Want to keep an eye on that one. Looking for a flag play now to come back and to retest a short-term moving average. AMC with a big down candle back down to the 9. Did get out of those Bollinger Bands last week, but back in them now. See if we can get a play off that 9. AMD intraday chart moved down on Friday. Amazon, this is Amazon's daily chart. A candle barely, but closed down below the 20. Watch your 9. Looks like we're setting up for a drowning goose there. That video, we do have a drowning goose video that will be coming out most likely tomorrow. See how that plays out. Most likely we'll release it tomorrow. But we're starting to see that drowning goose set up there in the moving average. So we need to keep a close eye. These next candle or two, the next day or two can make a big difference in what that chart looks like to give us the proper signals on what direction it wants to go. ARK trading lower in this wedge, holding the bottom of the wedge. We want to keep an eye on that one for a breakout. AMD, this is AMD's daily chart, back below your 50 and your 9. Watch your 20. We can lose this 9 and still get a play off the 20. Keep an eye on this. We also, if we extend this trend line, we do have a level down here. As this trend line comes down, we can look for support off that trend line. So we can see the CFM here. There's still money trying to come back into AMD, which is a good look. So people are trying to start bringing money back into it after a considerable decline of money. We can also see the MACD right here. We're right up into the 0 line. Can we get our pinch and move higher and get a 0 line breakout there? We can see AMD here coming down to retest the breakout area and some moving averages on the weekly. Still watching that. See if we can hold those levels. Amazon intraday, nice move down on Friday. This is Amazon's weekly chart. See, we are bear flagging back up into the 9 and 20 here. These bands are tubing. Right now, they don't look like they're ready to give us a move. This MACD is bearish. We'll be keeping a close eye on these bands this week, see if we can get any character change within those bands as well, along with the candles. Apple, this is Apple's weekly, still trading within this little, this is actually like a falling wedge, little flag type play here. That 20, your weekly 20 is resistance, plus as you can see, the downtrend there. So we want to keep an eye on those names. Maybe, if we do get a breakout in either direction, plan A, plan B. So Boeing got a bigger H cell pattern here on Boeing. Can we get some more downside? We were looking for downside off of this. It's basically a 1, 2, 3 reversal, just a little box play there. But you can also see pivot point 1, pivot point 2, pivot point 3, breaking below pivot point 2. In this case, we broke below, then formed a falling 1 to confirm that for a move lower. So does Boeing want to go lower? We do have gap resistance above us, and if we're looking for a breakout below, the CFM there, has been showing money coming out of Boeing. So BTU, putting Peabody back on. This is a coal stock, but it looks really great with a small cup and handle there. Bitcoin's looking pretty ugly down here, but this 50 still holding. 9 and 20 wants to come down. I think this may be interesting, depending on if somebody was to get into this conflict with Israel and Palestine. There could be some money exchanges, and there may be some interest into Bitcoin. Just saying. So we will keep that on the radar. We could see some issues there, trying to stop people from sending money with certain types of ways. Just something to keep on the radar. Not really going to break my neck looking for it, but we're going to keep it on the radar. TNX. Down here in between the 9 and 20, been showing a little bit of weakness. That was a huge candle trying to rage back up. We want this chart to come down. This is the one we want to come down. This is showing when yields rise, interest rates rise. It scares everybody. We prefer this chart to come down. We want to see bonds to go up. It's going to take the bond chart to go up to help move this down. I hope that's understandable. We've got to keep it moving. XLC, the consumer, I'm sorry, the communication sector. So we broke out this wedge. We've come back in retesting this 9. See how we act off the 9. It's going to be a big week. A lot happening this week. The market can move on earnings. The market can move on Israel. And hopefully the market can just stop being weird, because it was weird the last few days last week. We want to get out of that. XLP still showing a lot of weakness down there in the consumer staples. DraftKings still trading at this wedge, but it's at the bottom of the wedge. We're getting close to the apex. Your apex is when as your wedge comes together in your triangle. The tip of your triangle is actually called the apex, and you can see we're getting very close to that. So breakout, if it's going to, it may just trade sideways. EQT, I didn't finish drawing it, but we have a small inverted head and shoulders area here, or you can just look at it as an H-buy pattern if this triggers with a lower high pushing it higher. Cup, small handle. There's a lot of different ways to look at it. We get above this line. Look at your volume profile. We get above that line, we can expect price acceleration. This MACD looks great. RSI doesn't look bad. Not really showing a lot of relative strength here, but it's showing a little bit because you can see as for the SPX, we're sitting right on the 9, and EQT is a little bit stronger above the 9. See if we can clear this area. If we can clear this area, this may be one to watch. Lilly, so Lilly come up here and hit an all-time high. Great move on this one. Seeing rejection on Friday. Watch this Bollinger Band, see where it opens up tomorrow. Your daily BB can and will act as a support level until you are confirmed back into it. Now, we may open up tomorrow and be within that, and that would be great. Look for a play off the 9, see if we can get a flag play back into that 9 now. All right, ExxonMobil, nice push higher. Looks like we barely, but we did confirm back above that 9. So with these energy plays, please understand they're short-term trades right now, but they are tradable, and there's momentum coming into these names. That momentum's coming from the Israel-Palestine conflict, and there could be, big moves and changes within the crude market within the next few days if the invasion does take place, especially if other actors, especially if Iran gets into it. So we are going to have these names on the radar. They are not to be planned as swing trading type trades. We need to stay active and stay responsible about these trades. But crude and the energy names will be tradable. We'll have momentum in probably both directions, so we need to keep an eye on them. Please don't just jump in and try holding anything when it comes to the crude market right now, because there is some danger involved in that with the headlines coming out. But if you're responsible, you can take responsibility, and if you make good decisions, you can make money with the momentum that's being provided from the conflict into the energy market. So ExxonMobil back up to the 9. See where we open up tomorrow. Will we open up above it or below it? Google flagging back down to the 9. We want to watch that. That's definitely one of the stronger looking charts in the market right now. Home Depot, watching Home Depot for an 8-sell pattern type move. Price has memory. We need to break below this area right here. We break below that area, we're looking for a move down. The double top served us well. The bear flag did pretty good on the way down. Can we get another setup? As always, looking for the next setup. Home Depot back to support here, breaking out of the wedge. Let's see how we handle that. IWM moving lower. QQQ, so bounce off support, back up to resistance, rejected that resistance. Please get the wedges on your charts if you're trading these. Even if you're not, it's good to know what the Qs are doing throughout the day if you're trading any kind of tech-related stocks. So back down to the 9, but below the 50. See where we open up and see how we act tomorrow. See how the markets react for the futures market react as well tonight. Nice move down on the Qs on the intraday. And we can see our weekly chart, high close candle, but we see rejection back below the 9 and 20. Bands look like they want a tube there. Kind of tried to set that goose head up. Can we get anything off from it? Look like it might be trying to fall apart. So we'll keep a close eye. This week should tell us a lot. JP Morgan, I thought the earnings were good. They gapped up and they tried to take it to the moon on Friday, and they sold it all back. This is a low close candle. So a shooting star does not have to be a low close candle, but a shooting star with a low close candle is more powerful than a shooting star with a high close candle. Obviously, That's a big wick, so that's a pretty bearish candle. They took that all the way back and then took it below, worked on working filling some of that gap. See how we act at the 50. See where we open up tomorrow. Our nine's coming up nicely here. We did get a nice movement out of that nine. So see if we can get the nine to break outside of that pattern. So we're looking for a retest of moving averages or the breakout area to look for a flag type play there. All right, Lockheed Martin, this one has earnings this week, so we need to be careful with it. It's kind of set up here with an HY pattern, has a small gap above us. But what I like about this chart, let's just say they do a huge earnings beat. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but let's say that does happen. This can get a breakout type gap above this volume profile level, and then that is support, and we could see price acceleration up there. Either way, if we can clear that level, or we could see rejection here. We also have a gap below us, so we could see rejection on a bad report. So plan A, plan B, front running going into the report. Could be a lot of momentum going into this one with everything that's going on in the world. So just want to keep an eye on the defense stocks, but they do report this week, and there is this nice big fat volume profile bar, and you can see it eases off. We can possibly find rejection and move back down, or take that out and move higher. I hope that makes sense. Plan A, plan B. Let's keep it moving. MRO. So we picked up a WIM report last week, and this one was tied up into the WIM report, and that was on Friday. So, and it was that WIM report basically. Why is it moving? So, and I posted as, the reason stocks are moving, but MRO was tied up into a report that energy stocks were moving on Friday. So that's why we added this chart. You can see we got a close above. Now we do have this gap down here below us. Moving averages turning up. RSI looks good. Not that I'm a big RSI person, but RSI looks good. We definitely got relative strength. This is the SPX. Compare Friday's candle to Friday's candle on the SPX. Definitely showing relative strength up here. But more importantly, what I like most about this chart is we got to close above. Look at your volume profile. So we closed above that area with a lot less resistance up here, and what's happening in the Middle East can drive these stocks right now. Short-term trades, guys. Let's not get into it and try to swing them, because news headlines will be affecting these, but there's opportunity to make money there. Keep it moving. Merck still playing around here. Looks like it's trying to set up with a drowning goose. This week's going to be important still. For now, still looking for rejection at this. This is still breaking out of a head and shoulders pattern. Has been a very tough trader since it broke out of that. Meta right back to the 9. See how we act there tomorrow. Meta 15-day chart moving down there. All right, so we got Microsoft. Microsoft broke out of the wedge, coming back in on Friday. Still got this 9 here. See how we act. Still holding the 9 and 50. See if we can push back up. We got to get that 9 outside of that wedge. MACD still looks decent. RSI is cooling off there. Relative strength, with comparison, it's not worth comparing. Microsoft intraday, weak there, moving lower. Microsoft weekly, still trading within that wedge. You can see we did close back above that weekly 9 on that one, I'm sorry, not wedge channel, but we got to get out of that channel. All right, NVIDIA's been holding it a lot better. So here you got a higher low. Trying to push up, but Friday, big down candle right back to that 9. See how we act at the 9. We look at the volume profile up here. If we can just push up, we can definitely clear some areas and try to move higher. Definitely gets lighter up there. NVIDIA intraday chart moving lower there. NVIDIA. All right, so this is the weekly chart. This one still looks great. Still above the 9 and 20. Still trying to set up with the goose head there. Put your little eyeball there. Got a little knot in his head. It's not perfect. Do have the drowning or moving lower MACD that is cooling off, and RSI is 61 there, which is not super bad, I guess. I like them hot. I like my RSI up here. I want to see stuff like that showing me there's a tremendous amount of everybody's looking to sell. I'm looking to take shorter term long trades up there. When I see that, I just love seeing that. Just showing me that the stock is just full of relative strength. That's what I want to see. When everybody else trying to go short, I'm trying to go long. Don't take that, I'm a very tactical trader, so it's a little different for me. So NASDAQ, you can see the NASDAQ holding the 9 and 20 below the 50. Got to see how it acts tomorrow, where we open up. How do we act with the markets? We can't make a call right now until, with all the headlines coming out on the Middle East, and see where this goes. Netflix, you can see a little doji down there outside of the Bollinger Band zone. Just take note. Q, still looking for that cup and handle on the monthly. SPX, this is SPX daily. Still holding the 9 and 20 there. Still got to get that moving averages colors right. SMH weekly. So SMH had a nice push up, was trying to get outside of the channel and right back into it. The diamond is trying to roll over here, trying to hold the 59s, trying to turn up. We need to see that 9 turning up. This is wants to go up. We need to see money coming back into it. Nice bearish volume on Friday, but we need to see that 9 turning up. A little flat right now. Want to see that turning up towards price if this thing wants to go higher. The SPY on the weekly, bear flagging back up into the 9 and 20. We did get back over half that candle last week. Our RSI here, I'm sorry, our histogram. Remember, this is a 5 histogram, where your normal histogram on your MACD is a 9. This just gives us a different view of it. You can see it did push back up a little bit last week, trying to push higher here. So there was a little strength in that move, trying to make a difference there, but they still were able to come back in and take it back. And that's just not the best look right now. SPY monthly, still looking for a cup and handle situation, still holding the 9. We can still push up. All right, SPY, this is the SPY daily. By look, looking rough here, flagging back in. This is what we were looking for. If we were trading a 1-minute chart, we get a pop off the bottom down there like that. We're going to wait for it to pull back into our moving averages. So this is where we're looking for a trade. I know it looks rough here, but this is where we're looking for a trade. Take note. We got the 5, the 20 right there for support, the 9 right there for support. The 5 is actually going to be above us unless we were to gap up. We got the 50 above us and still got this 200 down here. It sure feels like it wants to get down to that 200, but we can see if we can push here. Now we're still trading a head and shoulders pattern as well, so we know it's going to be rough trading, and the market's acting weird. It all kind of starts to make sense now. Nice move down on our intraday charts. SPY. So this is a trend strength chart. This is judging the daily strength of the trend. So this is a longer term, a medium term look, and a very, very shorter term look at it. So we can see our longer term trend strength is bearish right now. Our shorter or medium term trend strength is still bullish, but the shorter term is going back to bearish. So just give us an overall look, and maybe we'll get back more into showing this chart and explaining this chart as well. We used to look at this chart a lot. Actually, every video we used to look at that chart. We have a weekly chart like that as well. A square. So square, large down candle on Friday. Looks like a drowning goose setting up here in our moving averages. You can see the RSI turn back down, cooling off. MACD does not look bad though. Tesla intraday moving lower on the 15. XLK right back into the 9 and 50 there for support, still trading within the channel. Tesla still trading within this. It's actually a rising wedge on the weekly. See how this plays out. That's below the 9. Still got that 20 down there for support. I got to be below that 20 before going short. Let's take another look. The bands are really, really tight there. Looks like it wants to tube. We need to see them open up. Tesla trading within the wedge, getting close to the apex here on the daily. Watch your 50. We're losing those shorter term moving averages. Still holding the 50. We got the 200 down here. Watch the wedge. Looking for a breakout. It's been a good wedge. We got 2 touch points, almost 3 on top, 2 on the bottom. That's good enough. We're watching for a breakout. Uber closed below. So this was a fairly tight wedge here as well. It's very close to channelish, but it is, you can see how it's wedging there, but we did get to close below. Moving averages are all turned down, trying to come down. Got the 200 below us. RSI dumped. MACD rolled over on Friday. You can also see if we can get below this area. Volume profile lightens up quite a bit there. Walmart pushed higher. So we do have some moving averages above us. But we did get a move higher on that one last week. So if we can clear these short-term moving averages here, we're looking for a move higher. And if we take a look at XLE, we know the strength's coming back into energy, and we know why. So tradable momentum there, but we're not trying to hang out too long. XLF. So XLF in between the 9 and 20, we got to get out of that area. So far, bank earnings look decent. 10-year, this is the TLT, the 20-year bond. Volume coming on Friday. Some pretty tough action down there. We need to get it back up on the top side of that chart. IWM. showing some weakness on the weekly. If we look in at the daily, we're setting up with another nice H sell pattern there possibly. So I hope you find this helpful. Please remember, discipline is the key to success in trading. And I'll see you in the trading room. Hope you have a great weekend.